Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Malifaux and another tournament. This time, Tinker, Taelor, Soldier Spy run out of Dark Sphere, so we're in the home ground. For this one, it's my fourth tournament and it will be the final one for this year, so I'm looking to do well. My goal is a lofty win all my games. Gotta keep aiming higher. I start the game off, the day off, on table 1. Look how good I'm doing already. My opponent, Hyper Badger, is a very new player. I don't believe he's played many games. He's borrowing his crew from a friend, and kudos to him for giving a tournament a shot. I think he originally came as just intending to spectate and then got sucked into things. So this raises a bit of a tricky question as to how to handle this game that I won't dwell on here, but maybe I'll make a video about it in future. But essentially, I'm at this tournament to compete and I want to do well, but I also don't want to be an asshole and, smash a new player. Give him a bit of a shit time and decrease his enthusiasm for Malifaux. I don't really like to make the assumption that someone who's new to the game is necessarily bad at it, and I don't really have time to think about and ponder my response to this question this time, so I just decide I'm going to play normally. I'll try to be clear about what I'm doing, and if he seems like he wants a little bit of help, I'll try to give him the best advice I can. And hopefully we'll both have fun, so let's see how it goes. Terrain. These ruins are hardcover severe, height 1 climbable hardcover rock walls, forests. This hill, I guess, is climbable height 2 with an impassable hardcover post on top, impassable hardcover height 3 rock thing. These are hardcover, you can see through the windows, and I think that's probably the same. Hyper Badger deployed 2 Ronin, a convict gunslinger, a Frykor librarian, Vanessa with, oh goodness, what is it called? Sisters in Spirit, I think, a student of conflict, Victoria of Ashes, with Howling Wolf Tattoo, Oathkeeper and Sisters in Fury, and Victoria of Blood, of course, with Mark of Shezuil and Synchronized Slaying. I've deployed a Nurse, McMorning with Plastic Surgery, Moonlighting, Decaying Aura, Rafkin with My Little Helper, Zombie Chihuahua, Sebastian with Those Are Not Ours, Aeonus with My Little Helper, and a Necropunk. So my plan for this game is to use my Necropunk to get round the sides and start dropping markers for Leave Your Mark, and then get into the backfield and start dropping them for Breakthrough. McMorning and Team Poison are going to hit the centre, with the idea of pinging a dog off into the backfield as well to go, double up on the marker dropping. I might have forgotten to say that Sebastian has corpse bloats, so I'm anticipating getting a dog at the beginning of the first turn. And Aeonus is here to try to deny quick murder, which I'm pretty certain the Vix will be going for. He's fairly tough, fairly fast, and most importantly, he can sit back, and if people are trying to deny my Leave Your Mark markers, I can move them around and also potentially deny any markers that my opponent might be trying to drop. So he's expensive, but I think he complements the schemes pretty well. However, this is a game against the Victorias, and before you get to what you're doing with your schemes, you have like a preliminary scheme to run, which is not to die to the Vic of Blood Alpha Strike. A good way to start doing this scheme is to deploy your guys spread out, as many of them more than 5 inches away from each other as they can, as I've not demonstrated here. I think I also deployed second, which makes this also, all the more embarrassing. But the plan I'm working with is to try to bait blood into this area so that I can send Aeonus and my Necropunk up here in relative safety. So that's why I've shifted slightly towards this side. The goal is to use this piece of terrain to narrow down the charge lanes of blood. I'll be able to see the slingshot coming, as it takes a few activations to get it set up. In which time I'm hoping to have my guys spread out around in this area. I want to use the canine remains that I'm going to summon from the Sebastian's corpse bloat to block off particular charge lanes in an attempt to funnel her the way I want her to go. Maybe I'll have to feed Rafkin or the nurse to her, but then I can hopefully get her with a Warning Counter-Strike. Or if that goes wrong, then I reckon I can probably poison her enough to take her down with whatever remains. Let's see how it goes. Turn 1, gonna hope that the Alpha Strike doesn't come in too hard. The student comes out and goes defensive. Interesting, looks like nothing's going to go fast this turn then. Sebastian goes, cuts out his spleen, don't think I prevent the damage, and then I summon a dog and walk over here. The dog has then gone and run and stood in the kind of entranceway here to just block that off as a charge route for blood. Ashes also comes out and doesn't really do much, and so yeah, I guess there's no slingshot this turn. And it seems the Vix will play a more defensive game. Looks like a Ronin has run forward somewhere over here. My dog, yeah, there he is. My Chihuahua's run off over here and poisoned McMorning and also Sebastian. My nurse has poisoned McMorning and wandered up. Rafkin removes Sebastian's poison and heals him, I think 2 damage. And I think this was my last activation, as all of my opponent's dangerous models have gone nearly. We've got Vanessa and the convict gunslinger just running up. Blood has gone around this side to the forest, so I've just run her right up into the face of the enemy with the intention of popping my little helper next turn. If we pan out, we can see that my Necropunk got fast from Aeonus's aura and then whisked its way over here. I was intending to run Aeonus to the back corner, but as the threats to him seem to have diminished by the sisters splitting up, I'm happy to start moving him forwards a little bit, as unless my opponent does something pretty drastic, he should be out of Blood's threat range next turn. So I get him some cover and go defensive. The rest of the Outcasts have just moved up towards the centre, and McMorning goes, he pushes out over here, the injection Sebastian up further. I'll want to try to have his induction aura making things dangerous in the centre next turn. I then run up over here and try to Rancid Transplant one of the Ronin. I don't think it's successful, and then at the end of the turn I just push myself back out of immediate danger. Turn 2, I held on to my high card from the last turn, got a 9 of crows, that's always nice. Worried for my Necroplunk, so near to blood, I get him up and drop a scheme marker before she can finish him. The student comes out and I think goes defensive as well. And if my opponent's watching this, I think I would suggest considering using her ability to give things fast, as the Outcasts have got some pretty hard-hitting stuff that love having that extra AP to do it. Sebastian cuts out another spleen and summons another dog, walking forwards. I think I prevent the damage this time, using a Soulstone, and I really like this combination of upgrades on him. This might be the first game I've ever not used the Emissary, and being able to summon these dogs early without having to have killed my enemy and have such control over where they occur is a big part of my playstyle, and not having the Emissary hurts less with this upgrade combo. Victoria moves forward into range, into 3 inches of Rafkin and shoots her, doing some damage, which is unfortunate, but it's soaking up valuable AP, which is a part of the intent. Ronin also gets in on the shoot Rafkin, and she's pretty badly hurt now. I get a dog, I'll get my dog in to run next to the Ronin, and then it looks like alright, that's it. So I moved my nurse up and got the negative flips and armour trigger off on Victoria of Ashes, and then I decided it's time to strike with McMorning, so he gets the poison push up. He then, I think, was in charge range to charge Victoria of Ashes. She's given out her ability to give everyone +2 to their defense, but my dog's bringing it back down by 1. And unfortunately I flub pretty hard, because in my excitement I completely forget about the negative flips. So Ashes ends up damaged on a big stack of poison, but because I've been having to cheat my big cards to get her there, I can't meet the TN for the expunge. And so she lives! Luckily Rafkin's on hand to clear up the mess, and between her 3-4 attacks and flipping 2 severes for damage, we finally managed to take Ashes down. So at the end of the turn things look a bit like this. Blood tried to get Aeonus, but he gave her the slip. Honestly can't remember how that dog got there, maybe something died of poison, just don't know. We both score Turf War and I get Leave Your Mark. We make it into turn 3 with time pretty short. The student vents her frustration and kills Rafkin. She's been learning, it seems. Dogs arrive, and I think some dogs die, and basically my opponent starts trying to put down scheme markers wherever he can. McMorning kills some stuff and moves to block them. Was thinking about making a run for the backfield to drop some markers, but yeah, no, just decided to do this, it's quicker. My Brave Hound speed bumps Blood, protecting Sebastian from her wrath. My Necropunk drops another marker for Leave Your Mark, and then jumps into the backfield to get a marker for Breakthrough. And as the turn ends, we run out of time, and so that is the end of the game. The Outcasts scored 2 points for Turf War, very well done, sir. No points for Claim Jump and no points for Quick Murder. The Resurrectionists scored 2 points for Turf War, 2 points for Leave Your Mark, and 1 point for Breakthrough, making this game 5-2 to the Resurrectionists. So yeah, quite a short and sweet game. To be honest, I don't think I played that well, and if my opponent had been more experienced, I think this could have gone pretty badly. My deployment could have been better for sure. Forgetting about the negative flips on my attack run against Ashes was absolutely terrible. Just a complete brain fart that I hope made the game a little bit more exciting. Briefly for my opponent, I felt a bit bad. I felt really quite bad going in and killing his master turn 2. But it's a bit difficult with the Vix, as you know, if you try to leave them alone and try to control the game because you think you're so much better than the opponent, and then they spike and whirlwind your crew off the table, you look like a bit of a knobhead. So it's a bit lose-lose. So in the end, I decided to try to show him what kind of things can happen in Malifaux and things to watch out for. And I can only hope that he had a good time, and I think he did. He was a really nice guy, and I look forward to playing him again if our paths should cross. And I will catch you on Game 2.